Hey everyone, it's Andrew here with BTS Properties. Today I want to talk about something that costs landlords more money than almost anything else, pricing a rental too high. I see this all the time and I talk to owners all the time about this. Um, you pull up Zillow, you look at a few other units that are for rent in the area, and then you want a price to match those or maybe even a little bit higher so that you can maximize your rent, get the most income for your property. Makes sense. But here's the problem with that. The units that you're looking at whenever you do that, those units are still listed. Or in other words, they have not rented yet. So that's not market rent, that's asking rent that you're looking at. And there's a real difference between the two, and it'll cost you. So, what we do at BTS Properties is look at what has actually rented in the recent, what has actually rented recently. Comparable size, comparable condition, comparable area. That tells you what a real resident with real money in hand is actually willing to pay, not what a hopeful landlord is hoping to get. So, why does this matter so much? A couple reasons. First, the real cost of vacancy. Every extra week your unit sits empty is real money out of your pocket. On a $1,200 a month rental, that's roughly $280 a week. If you price it $50 to $100 over market, and instead of renting in 2 weeks, it sits for a month or two, that's about at least $1,200 plus your utilities that you're paying, plus your lawn care, plus the chance of vandalism or somebody breaking in and squatting. All those costs add up and can quickly wipe out any extra rent you were hoping to get from that property. So the next reason is your applicant pool changes. Whenever a property sits too long at a high price, qualified applicants are familiar with the market. They know what rents are. They're going to move on to something that's priced right. So who's left looking are one of two people. First, you have people who are more desperate, typically aren't qualified. They need a place to live quick. They're firing in applications they can anywhere. They probably won't screen well, and you end up either lowering your standards just to get someone in the door or dealing with a lot of applications that don't go anywhere, and you still sit with a vacancy. The other type of people that it attracts is people coming in from out of town who are not familiar with the market. Peoria is a pretty inexpensive area, which is awesome. However, what that means is people coming in from out of town, usually they're seeing prices, and anything that they see is typically lower than the price of where they're coming from. So they see a number, it doesn't sound crazy to them, and they'll typically go through and sign a lease. But after living there for a year, they figure out the market, they look around, they either end up moving to another rental that is more competitively priced in line with the market, or for your financially responsible people, they see that, hey, I'm overpaying, I can buy an inexpensive house here in Peoria, and end up purchasing a house and moving in. Why does that matter? That leads to pretty frequent turnover. Typically, that first year, people are turning over who fall into this category. Turnover is super expensive. You've got new listing costs, you've got the vacancy, you got cleaning, repairs, all that comes with it. So we want to reduce turnover as much as possible. So here's what we actually do. We price it at or just slightly below the market rent that we determine based on what has recently rented, not what is currently sitting on the market. It sounds backwards. Less rent, more money. That's the way it actually goes. A property that rents fast, keeps a qualified resident, and renews year after year is going to be better for your bottom line every single day than a property that's priced too high and is expensive to keep filled with high turnover. So hopefully that was helpful. If we can be a resource on this or anything else related to managing your rental, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find us at btspeoria.com or give us a call at 309-431-2469. Thanks so much.